Okay, I'm going to start this the way that I would start a conversation with my closest friend. No music, no intro, no warm up. Just me. I'm Webley. I am 50 years old. I'm Haitian American. I am a lunch strategist. I've been in the professional space for over 30 years. And I have spent the majority of those 30 years being the strong Black woman. And I'm done. That's what we're doing for the next couple of days. Every day, I'm going to sit right here and talk through one piece of that role that I've had to unpack, the things that it cost me, the things that I had to unlearn, and what I'm choosing instead at 50 years old. So today is just the beginning. If you are a Gen X woman, if you have been the one that everyone leans on, the one who holds it all together, the one who never publicly falls apart, I want you to stay with me because this one is for you. Now, let me tell you what the strong Black woman actually was for me, because I feel that people get it wrong all the time. People say it like it's some kind of badge of honor. You know, she is strong, she can handle anything, she never breaks. And for a long time, I took it as a compliment, and I genuinely did. But here's what it actually means in practice. It means that you are expected to have no limits. It means that you absorb whatever comes at you at work, at home, in your community, and you just keep going without complaining, without slowing down, without needing anything from anyone. And the moment that you say, I'm exhausted, or I need help, or this is too much, something changes. People look at you differently, like you broke a contract that they never showed you but expected you to sign anyway. Like they're surprised, that you feel this way. And that is the role that I am retiring because I didn't choose it consciously. Nobody does. And it gets handed to you by your family, by culture, by every workplace that you walk into, and by a society that decided that Black women are just built differently than everyone else. And once you prove that you can carry it, once you show them how much you can hold, they just keep adding to the weight because you can handle it, because you're strong, right? That's how this worked for me. And when I counted the years, I realized that I've been doing this for 30 years straight. And here's a term that I want to share with you because it feels like a tax, especially because I hate tax season. The hustle tax. The hustle tax is the extra that you pay in time, in energy, in emotional work. And you do all that just to get the same result that someone else gets by doing way less. It is real. And as a Black woman and as an immigrant, it was very real in my life. So let me give you like a specific example. Let me share with you a specific example. Early in my career, I started noticing a pattern. I would show up to meetings completely prepared, my research done, my notes organized, every scenario mapped out. And I would watch someone else walk in less prepared, something barely prepared, sometimes barely prepared, and get more airtime, more credit, more follow-up from the decision maker in the room. And my first thought every single time it was, I just need to work harder or I need to do more. So I did. And the same thing would happen again. So it wouldn't change anything in the outcome. So what would I do? I would end up doing more. So I did more and more. For 30 years, I kept raising my own bar, thinking that if I just exceed expectations enough, I will finally get to be equal. That is the hustle tax. It's not the same as working hard. Working hard is fine. I have nothing against working hard. I genuinely love to work. The hustle tax is working harder specifically because you have been taught that it's the only path to getting what other people get without even trying. And here is the part that took me the longest to see clearly. The tax never actually gets you to be equal. It just makes you more valuable to the people who benefit from the gap. Every time I worked twice as hard, I made the system more profitable for someone else. And I was proud of it. I was proud of my work ethics. And that's not the problem, because the problem is I was paying a tax that I didn't know I was paying, and nobody in the system was going to tell me, because the tax, that hustle tax, only works if you don't know that it exists. So when I became a lunch strategist, when I started working with other women who were building their own thing, I started seeing it from the outside. I would watch women, especially Black women, immigrant women, over deliver, over prepare, over qualify. And I would think, I know exactly what is happening here. She's paying the hustle tax too. And nobody told her that she actually had the option not to. Okay, the hustle tax is just the work piece, but I want to talk about what twice as busy actually look like in my whole life, not just my career, because it wasn't just the job. It was managing multiple worlds at the same time. And I did that every single day. There is the professional world, the one where I have to be on, where I have to present myself in a way that the room can receive, where I can do the work in managing how people feel about that work. And then there is the cultural world, the Haitian family expectations, the community responsibility, the phone calls that carry a whole other weight, the unspoken pressure that comes with being the one who made it out, and what it means that you owe. And then there is my personal world, which always got the least of me, because by the time I got there, I had nothing left to give. I'm wondering if any of that sounds familiar to you, because let me tell you specifically what twice as busy looked like at work. I was managing a project, a big one. I was doing my job, the actual job that I was hired to do and paid to do. And I was also informally managing 3 other people's output, because I could see that if I did not, the whole thing was going to fall apart and I would be blamed for it. The funny part is that nobody asked me to do that. Nobody paid me to do that. And the worst part is that nobody noticed that I was doing that. But I did it anyway. I did it because the strong Black woman does not let the team fail. She picks up the slack for everybody else. This is just who she is. So when the project wrapped, the win went to the whole team. And I'm not saying that was wrong, because teams went together. I get that. But I want you to think about the gap. What I spent to get that win versus what everyone else spent. Because it wasn't just doing 2 people's job. It was doing my actual job, plus managing everyone else's comfort with my presence, plus proving that I had a right to be in the room, plus making sure the work was so good that nobody could question it. Oh, there's more. Plus the emotional labor of being the only Black woman there and carrying what that means. That was 5 things. Most of my colleagues, they were doing just one. And we called it the same thing, working hard. I was working hard, but I wasn't working the same amount of hard than everybody else. And I was pretending otherwise, which the strong Black woman role required us to do. Keep me stuck in that pattern in a way longer than I should have been. And I want to tell you about the moment that I decided that I'm done with that. And it wasn't dramatic. There was no breakdown. There wasn't really no single moment. It was a Tuesday, and I was in the middle of something, and I can't even remember exactly what it was. And I just stopped. And I thought, you know what? I'm just tired of this. Not tired, sleepy, not the kind of tired that you fix with a weekend off, but the tired of being on all the time, the tired of performing who I was supposed to be, tired of managing everyone else's expectation and everyone's comfort and everyone's needs before I get to my own. And then I thought, when was the last time you were not performing, Webley? I had to sit there and actually think about that. And that scared me because that should not be a hard question for me to answer. You should know when you are just being yourself. That should be the default, not the expectation. But I had been doing this for so long that I had to actually dig to find out who I was underneath that role. And what I found was this woman who was genuinely funny, creative, curious about everything, a filmmaker at heart, who had been putting her own stories in a drawer. And she has been doing that for decades because she was too busy carrying everyone else. I also discovered a woman who loved being Haitian, loved specificity, the specificity of it, who was done watering herself down so that other people could be comfortable around her. I discovered a woman who had things to say, real things, and who had been waiting for the right moment to say them. So at 50 years old, I decided that woman did not have to wait anymore. And I want to be honest about why 50 years old felt like the right time. It's not that some switch flipped on my birthday. It's that I had finally accumulated enough years for me to do the math. I could see clearly what the last 30 years had cost me. And I could see that if I kept going the same way, I know exactly what the next 30 years would look like. And I did not want that. So I stopped waiting to feel ready. I stopped waiting for the right conditions. I stopped waiting for someone to give me permission to just be the full version of myself. I just stopped. And I took a deep breath, like a real breath. A nervous one too, the kind where you're not already planning what comes next before it's even done. And that for me was the beginning of all of this. So here's what we're doing. For the next couple of days, I'm going to talk through every piece of this role that I've been unpacking. The hustle tax, the invisible labor, the gratitude performance, the way that I learned to carry pain quietly, and I called it strength. The moment I started speaking up and watched people get uncomfortable, all of it. I am not doing this to complain. I am not doing this for sympathy. I am doing this because I know that I am not the only one who lived this. So if you have been the strong one, if you have been the person who holds everything together while quietly you're running on empty inside, I see you. And I want you to know that retiring this role is not a weakness. It is the most honest thing that I have ever done. So next time, I'm going to talk about the specific moment that I first realized that the hustle tax had a name and what happened to the first time that I refused to pay it. And I know I'm not the only one who's been paying this hustle tax. And if you recognize yourself in this, you just know that you're not crazy. You're just tired. So next time I'm going to name the specific moment that I decided to stop paying that tax. And I will see you then.